Gas average shoots up, your news update, and we get more stupid the hotter it gets. On this edition of State of the Bands Weekend, starting right now. Hello and welcome to Arbitrage State of the Bands Weekend for June 11th, 2022. I'm Joshua Stark. The average price that Americans pay for a gallon of gasoline is closing in on $5. Another drain on the wallets of consumers who are paying more for many other essentials as well. The AAA said the nationwide average for regular on Thursday was $4.97 a gallon, up a quarter in just the last week and $1.90 more than drivers were paying a year ago. Gas Buddy, a service that helps drivers find deals on gas, said the average surpassed $5 for the first time ever. Pump prices have been rising steadily for months, shooting past the $4 mark in early March. The average price of filling up a typical family car has exceeded £100 for the first time in Britain as Russia's war in Ukraine drives gasoline prices higher. Figures from data firm Experian Catalyst showed that the average price of a liter of gas at UK pumps hit a record 182 pence on Wednesday, taking the average cost of filling a 55-liter family car to £100.27. The prices are the equivalent of about $8.80 per gallon. Motoring Association AA said the price hikes have been a huge shock for drivers and urged the government to intervene. Enough is enough. The government must act urgently to reduce the record fuel prices that are crippling the lives of those on lower incomes, rural areas, and businesses, AA President Edmund King said. NASA will launch a research rocket from remote northern Australia this month in the agency's first blast-off from a commercial spaceport outside the United States. 3 suborbital sounding rockets will be launched from the Arnhem Space Center in indigenous-owned land near the mining town of Nootlumbay in the Northern Territory on June 26, July 4th, and 12th, said NASA and the launch pad's owner, Equatorial Launch Australia. The launch site was chosen because it is in the southern hemisphere and close to the equator. This commercial launch range in Australia opens up new access in the southern hemisphere night sky, expanding the possibilities for future science missions. NASA Associate Administrator for the Science Mission Directorate, Thomas Zerboshin, said in a statement. An 83-year-old Japanese adventurer returned home Saturday after successfully completing his solo nonstop voyage across the Pacific, becoming the oldest person to reach the milestone. Kenshi Hori arrived in the Key Strait off Japan's western coast, completing his trans-Pacific voyage in 69 days after leaving a yacht harbor in San Francisco in March. It was the latest achievement for the octogenarian adventurer, who in 1962 became the first person in the world to successfully complete a solo, non-stop voyage across the Pacific from Japan to San Francisco. 60 years later, he traveled the opposite route. "I just crossed the finish line. I'm tired," he wrote in his blog after reaching Japan in the early hours of Saturday. News and more next on Arbitrage State of the Bands Weekend. Stick around.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This week's State of the Band's blog includes Don't Mess with Hamsters, ATC from Home, and Royce and I talk about summertime heat. Hot town, summer in the city. I'm just saying. All this and more in this week's State of the Band's blog, available now at arbitragetrade.com. Now let's go to the president and CEO of Arbitrage, Mr. Royce Wells, for more. Royce?
Yes?
Ari is really smart. Have you noticed that?
Yes, quite. Yeah.
Yeah, she's brought us another story about gene editing gone wrong or right?
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde with a hamster?
With a hamster.
Is that with a P or without the P?
Without the P, because it's a colloquial spelling.
I don't know. I still like I say hamster, I want my P, thank you.
Well, it's the Hamptons,
Yeah,
not the Hamptons, but there is a P there.
No, I still call it Hampton, Virginia.
Well, hamsters are full of P, which is a weird segue to the story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah. It wasn't the vasopressin?
Vasopressin.
Okay, sure, close enough.
Vasopressin. So apparently there is a hormone called vasopressin that's used as an anti-diuretic.
So it makes you pee.
Do diuretics do? Diuretics make you pee. This is an anti-diuretic.
So it means you never decided to pee. Got it.
Okay, think about it this way. All right, vasopressin is suppressed when you drink alcohol. What do you do when you drink a lot of alcohol?
You have to pee a lot.
Bingo. So apparently, some scientists use CRISPR, which we know as a gene editing thing.
CRISPR cream?
Yeah. Yeah, donuts.
That doesn't sound good.
Time for a break.
No.
So we knew about CRISPR because of an illegal human gene editing experiment in China, right?
Yes.
But they're using it to cut out vasopressin. They are suppressing vasopressin in these hamsters. Okay?
Say that again 2 times fast.
Hamsters.
No, vasopressin.
Vasopressin?
Vasopressin.
Okay.
See?
So, vasopressin apparently is also associated with aggression. The reason they knew this is because male hamsters, when put together, that were vasopressin suppressed,
Join Fight Club?
Apparently, you don't talk about Fight Club even when it's with hamsters.
Man, let's see. Yeah, don't get what's his name? Mike Vick. Wait, never mind.
Oh
He's
man,
going to a new line of work.
That's a totally different story there.
Yep.
But apparently, vasopressin made them more aggressive to each other, where there were fights occurring in the cages. That means that the receptor for vasopressin has more functions than scientists really thought.
At least in hamsters.
At least in hamsters. We know that the hormone and its receptor kind of work together and impact the body. Understanding how hormones interact with their receptors in general could help us move forward with behavioral science and better understanding disorders like ADHD and developing better therapies for that.
Yep.
More.
You're right.
Yeah. More after this on Arbitrage State of the Band's Weekend. Go to arbitragetrade.com to read more about hormones and how they work with the body. More after this.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
A company is seeking to build the country's first ever remote air traffic control center, which could handle the traffic from multiple airports on the site of an old Air Force base in Alabama, a newspaper reports. Advanced ATC Incorporated, an air traffic control academy based in Valdosta, Georgia, announced plans Thursday to invest about $4.7 million at Craig Airfield, now a public airport in Dallas County, just southeast of Selma. The company also announced it will establish an international training academy at the site. The remote tower uses cameras, real-time video, and other features, allowing air traffic controllers to remotely accomplish the duties that they would have previously have carried out in a traditional control tower, the company said. Remote towers represent an important and innovative step in airspace modernization efforts in the U.S., and I'm excited to see Advanced ATC establish its pioneering operation at Craig Field, said Greg Confield, Secretary of the Alabama Department of Commerce. While the technology is gaining a foothold in Europe, it is relatively new in the United States, Dan Cunningham, Chief Operating Officer for Advanced ATC, said. Remote tower systems are brand new in the United States, Cunningham said. He said the tower will be part of their training academy at the site, where they anticipate training students from around the globe, but will need approval from the Federal Aviation Administration before handling air traffic in the United States. The Federal Aviation Administration has not approved any remote tower systems for use, but Cunningham said remote towers at 2 airports are currently going through the evaluation process, and our process will be the same. Advanced ATC officials said the remote tower will be equipped to support aviation expansion and provide air traffic control services for up to 40 airports in the United States. The outlook for small airports to be able to afford ATC service without the requirement to build a $5 million to $10 million control tower is now available, with the advancement of camera and satellite technologies changing almost daily, Cunningham said. The Selma RTC will be the catalyst for this historic change in the United States. The company's 5-year plan seeks to bring as many as 119 jobs to Selma, Alabama, with a payroll of $8 million. Of those, the company will hire 28 people to operate the facility at Craig Field within the first year, with a payroll of $3.1 million. Indra, an aviation navigation systems company, will partner with Advanced ATC and contribute staffing, software, and logistics for each remote tower system established in North America. Meanwhile, the International Training Academy will provide operational training and certifications for between 25 and 50 students each year. We are thrilled to reach a win-win agreement and are very anxious to get started making aviation history at Craig Field, said Advanced ATC President Monica Cunningham. When asked for a timeline of when to expect the new additions to be operational, Craig Field Executive Director Jim Corrigan said the Academy would accept its first class in September, and the remote aircraft control tower will be certified in December. He added that Craig Field will also have a staffed air traffic control tower. More after this.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time. What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Royce, we do a ton of crypto here, don't we?
A little.
Just a bit.
I
Eh.
mean, helium miners and
Yeah. Bitcoin miners and
no,
Ethereum
definitely
miners.
not Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin miners are noisy and loud and
Oh,
really
no.
expensive.
Oh,
so.
no, not us. We don't have any noisy miners around here at all.
Not Bitcoin miners, I promise you.
I'm kidding. Of course. Yeah, but, well, we've been pretty lucky with crypto in general as far as how we've been able to access it and how we've been able to deal with it. But Congress kind of wants to change that, don't they?
I think so. I think they want to actually put a regulatory clarity agency in charge of supervising all those digital assets and markets.
You know, the thing is that they couch it in this thing called the Responsible Financial Innovation Act, and that sounds so innocuous to me, doesn't it to you?
I think that, they're trying to centralize something that was meant to be decentralized. I mean, but you have to figure out how do you grab a bear? Do you grab a bear? I'm saying you probably shouldn't grab a bear.
Well, here's the situation we have. This is a bipartisan bill that has been was introduced on Tuesday, and a lot of players in Washington are kind of perking up because there has been a vocal group of people who have wanted cryptocurrency regulation for a while. But the thing is that cryptocurrency, and this was the Binance founder saying this, that cryptocurrency was a wild, wild west that needed a sheriff.
It has a sheriff. The people are the sheriff. It's supply and demand.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a whole lot bigger than the scope of what everyone sees. And I'm just going to go off on a tangent here. Right? Cryptocurrency allows basically monies to cross over borders without it being patronized by the United States. The U.S. dollar, as it stands, is the global world currency. And everything flows through the global world bank and is controlled that way. It's very much so centralized. Cryptocurrency, because anyone can create it and it can originate anywhere, and there are different servers and stuff out in the world, it allows basically for me to buy stuff in Great Britain. I don't have to turn into a Great British Pound. If I go to India, I don't have to turn into a ruble. If I go to Mexico, I don't have to turn into a peso. Bitcoin is Bitcoin, Ethereum is Ethereum, and if I want it, I buy it. But that creates problems with cartels, people, money laundering. I mean, it creates a bunch of problems, which is why I understand greatly why they want to be able to put reins and stuff on this. I mean, to maintain control. I don't have any problem with that because, honestly, we do need some control. We do need some type of sheriff. Is this the right way? Probably not. If I would do it, I'd probably go through the United Nations. So that way, the entire global economy has something to say about it.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on this because it's not a law yet, but we'll take a look. More after this.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp. I can probably hit the green from here. Probably. Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Target is canceling orders from suppliers, particularly for home goods and clothing, and it's slashing prices further to clear out amassed inventory ahead of the critical fall and holiday shopping seasons. The actions come after a pronounced spending shift by Americans from investments in their homes to money spent on travel, nights out, dinner, and dressier clothes, a change that arrived much faster than major retailers had anticipated. The speed at which Americans pivoted away from pandemic spending was laid bare in the most recent quarterly financial filings from a number of major retailers. Target reported last month its profit for the fiscal first quarter tumbled 52% compared with the same period last year. Sales of big TVs and small kitchen appliances that Americans loaded up on during the pandemic have faded, leaving Target with a bloated inventory that it said it must be marked down to sell. Target declined to give a dollar amount of merchandise orders that are being canceled and the depths of the discounts. In aggressively clearing out unwanted goods, Target wants to make room for what is now in demand, including groceries and makeup products. But Target is also facing sharply higher costs for everything from labor to transportation and shipping, and it will offset price cuts where it can with higher prices for goods now in demand. Retail inventories are elevated, Michael Fedelke, Target's chief financial officer, told in a phone interview Monday, and they certainly are for us in some of the categories that we missed forecast. We determined that acting aggressively was the right way to continue to fuel the business. Target is working with suppliers to cover costs for their vendors whose orders are being canceled. In some cases, some of the raw materials that were meant for some goods will be instead used for other products in higher demand, Fidelke said. Many of the orders for products being canceled have a long production lead time of 9 months, he said. Target also announced that it will add 5 distribution centers over the next 2 fiscal years. Target said the costs related to the moves will hurt the bottom line in the current quarter and now expects its second quarter operating margin will be roughly 2%, down from around 6.3% that it expected last month. For the second half of the year, Target expects an operating margin rate in a range around 6%, a rate it said would exceed the company's average fall season performance in the years leading up to the pandemic. Last month, Target forecast its full-year operating income margin rate would be in the 6% range. It didn't get a full-range prediction. It also said that it secured additional space near U.S. ports to hold merchandise to allow for more flexibility. However, it continues to expect full-year revenue growth in the low to mid-single-digit range and expects to maintain or gain market share for the year. Shares of Target Corporation fell 9% to $145.30 in pre-market trading, and the stock of other retailers retreated with it. Walmart, Nordstrom, and Macy's fell between 2 and 4%. Don't forget, at arbitragetrade.com and .org we have free seminars, and we have recorded lessons to teach you about everything from stocks to cryptocurrency. More after this on Arbitrage State of the Bands Weekend.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous, as in Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Royce, June's here, man, but I swear it feels like it's August.
Yeah, it's pretty hot out here.
It's so hot.
Oh, how hot is it, Josh?
It's so hot, we're getting stupid.
Dare to be stupid?
Dare to be stupid. Oh, Royce. You know, extreme heat is kind of a drag, right? You get hot, you get sticky, it's nasty, you get uncomfortable. You know, it's kind of funny. I went to see an apartment the other day. I told you about that.
Yeah.
We went outside to look at some things in the courtyard, maybe 5 minutes. And I'm just drenched in sweat. I'm feeling miserable. He's feeling miserable. We just go back inside.
Oh, okay. I thought you were maybe looking at your application and going like, oh.
That's sweating of a different kind, which I did. Right. So extreme temperatures have been linked to reductions in stuff like worker productivity,
heat
test
stroke?
scores.
Yeah. ACT in June. I don't think they do that.
PSAT's scores actually were lower in the summer, it turns out. So
LSATs and all. Don't take tests in the summer. I just learned something.
Don't take tests in the summer, which is weird because I think my ACT seminar was in the summer. That's kind of telling. Highest score ever made.
Oh, very nice.
I don't know. There were a couple studies made. Number one was a study by a guy who wrote for the Scientific American, University of Texas marketing department.
Wait, you're trusting the marketing guy?
Well, you know, you kind of
You
have
had
to.
me until you said marketing.
I am a marketing guy.
No, you're a social media guy. That's different. You're media. That's marketing.
What's marketing?
So all right,
anyway,
I'll let you do you.
So anyway, this guy with the Scientific American, he says that the main reason why summer makes us so stupid is because our brains need more energy for cooling the body instead of warming it up in the cold, right?
Wait, we have built-in air conditioning?
Technically speaking, it goes through our heads. But
I think that's what perspiration does, right? You sweat, and then therefore, if there's any breeze, you cool out. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. But our brains have a tendency to have a role in thermal regulation of the body. The main energy, glucose, becomes more depleted in summer, and we use glucose as we walk, we talk, we breathe, we perform physical functions.
So our brain is sugar?
Yeah, well, our brain uses sugar, glucose.
Okay, I'll accept that.
It becomes more depleted, meaning we have to make more effort in mental functions such as making decisions, exerting self-control, suppressing emotional responses, and even answering stuff like math problems.
Okay, 1 + 1 is 4.
That's not right.
It's June. I can be right all I want.
Turn that fan back on, dude, because you might.
Oh, I maybe in binary. Maybe no. Base
it
2
doesn't work either.
Base 2.
Nope.
1 + 1 is if that's the 10 and the 2, and yeah, it works. Sorry.
What'd you say? What
binary?
One times. Never mind.
It's like 20 because you max out the base at 2.
This is what I have to deal with, guys. See you next weekend. We're just gonna go now. Bye.
Nanu.
Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, is a privately held market research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the content of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to be investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, please visit arbitrage